they study you. They look through all your social media profiles. Okay, they take notes. They ask you a lot of questions, and just very detailed, specific questions to extract information. Remember, they're trying to learn as much as they can so that they can mirror you, so that then you can then believe that they're your soulmate, or they're like, oh my God, this is everything that I've been looking for. Yo, welcome back to another segment. This is Psychopath Exposure. My name is Kita. Today I want to talk directly to those that are just in a dire hurry to get right back into another relationship after exiting a crazy toxic entanglement with a psychopath or a narcissist. Why are you guys in such a hurry to just jump right back into something just because you met someone and everything just seems nice and dandy right up front? So I want to make a video because a lot of people that I work with, they're embarrassed to admit that after they got out of their past, after they divorced their ex-wife or ex-husband, after whatever their past consisted of, then they meet someone new and everything's great. There's fireworks at the beginning. A lot of times they meet on a dating app, and they're kind of embarrassed to even admit it, because I think we all know that meeting people on dating apps nowadays is dangerous. Okay, especially you're prone to meeting narcissists and psychopaths because dating apps are created in a way where we're kind of like window shopping for love, and that already that in and of itself doesn't sound good. And you get to craft these things with the best photographs. We get to use all sorts of apps to make us look better. We say just the right things to entice, I guess, the demographic that we're, targeting when you're dating, right? And I hate to use the word targeting, but yeah, no, I don't hate it. Actually, it's quite accurate. You are being targeted. There's a certain demographic that narcissists are targeting on these dating apps, and they're good at it. They're good at it, and if you fall for the trap, you shouldn't have gone into a dating app looking for love in the first place. Anyway, I digress. I will say that a lot of times you meet someone new and you're so like desperate, or you're so keen on making sure that this new person fills in all those things that you really want in a partner, that hopefully it eclipses the toxic situation that you crawled out of. You really, really want this new person to be the one finally, so that you can say, damn, I went through all that shit, but finally I met my white knight in shining armor, and it's like it finally worked out. I finally met my dream girl. Finally, I can put all that behind me. It was all worth it. And you tend to overlook red flags, and you tend to move way too fast in trusting someone new that's telling you everything you want to hear, especially over a dating app. And they're showing you all these photographs, and you have to be able to decipher what's actually real, what's fabricated, what's being fed to you because they think that's what you want to hear, because they think that's what's going to lure you into trusting them, into being vulnerable, into being open. So you have to be very careful when you meet new people, especially when you're coming out of something like this where your heart is longing for real connection. Because a lot of times what happens is you don't properly heal from the narcissistic abuse, and you end up meeting another narcissist or a psychopath, or someone that's actually worse than the other person. Because since you didn't heal, life has a way of testing you to see how far you've come, to see if you can pass those tests, right? So I wanted to read off a comment that really got my attention, because I think they understand how this whole thing works, and I like how they can maybe romanticize it, which is what I like to do, and compare it to like a movie. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read this comment. You can read along with me here. It comes from Dean Taylor. So Dean just goes out and outlines, take your time when you get to know people. And remember this, that a narcissist cannot be consistent. Their mask will eventually come off and you will see their true colors shining through. Here's something that I've learned to keep in mind, keep in my head. Think of yourself as James Bond. You're a secret agent, and there are other agents out there, and they're trying to get top secret information from you, especially the narcissist. They will learn all your secrets, and they will use them against you to destroy you. Remember, they're covert, so that means that they're undercover. It's like an actor playing a character in a movie. Remember, the narcissist's main objective is to suck the life out of you, okay? So you can see it's very easy for these covert narcissists to put on a mask, to play a role, to take on a role, and look from the outside like if you're everything that you're looking for in a mate. How do they do that? Well, they study you. They look through all your social media profiles, okay? They take notes. They ask you a lot of questions, and just very detailed, specific questions to extract information. Remember, they're trying to learn as much as they can so that they can mirror you, so that then you can then believe that they're your soulmate, or they're like, oh my God, this is everything that I've been looking for, and they just keep feeding you those things. I remember I met this chick. Yes, I said chick. I remember I met this girl a few years back, and she told me that she was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So right away I was like, this ain't going anywhere. But we kept talking, and she told me that her previous boyfriend, I forgot what he was into, what field of study he was into. I think he was a lawyer or something like that. That she went to the library and she checked out like 4 books on the subject, and she started reading those books so that when they went on dates or when they spoke on the phone, she would, she could have conversations with him on those things, so she would seem smart in his eyes. And I sat there and was like, look, I appreciate that. I totally appreciate wanting to learn about your partner's interests, wanting to feel relevant, to be able to have that conversation. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with looking through someone's social media. There's nothing wrong with looking at photographs and what's what are your interests? What are the things that you love? There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's very healthy to ask questions, and that's why there's a fine line between these things. You have to look at the part that's uncanny. And if you can't find it early on, if you don't have the Shinigami eyes yet, if you haven't been trained on this type of on this stuff, you just have to tread carefully. Okay? So I was like, why would you spend all this time so early on into reading all these books? Like, why? What about just going on that date and talking about your interests, right? The things that you bring to the table, and then ask him what his stuff, and learn. And when you don't know about something, oh, you know what, I'm not versed on that subject, like what's that about, like tell me, can you give me some examples, some experiences that you've had, illustrate some of these things for me so that I can understand. And that's conversation building, right? You don't have to go to the library and check out books and memorize all these terms and terminology, all this stuff to impress this new person. That's just weird. Over time, if you continue to date, I can see how, hey, I can see that you're very passionate about this, and it actually sounds interesting when you talk to me about it. I want to learn a little bit more. It's totally cool. But when someone right off the bat is so intensely taking such an interest in everything that you do and trying to mirror that back to you, that's weird. Okay, so you have to tread carefully. It takes, again, like Dean said, it takes a long time to really get to know someone. The narcissist is very good at doing that early on, but it's not sustainable. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort to sustain that facade, especially if they have other people, other supplies, other sources of supplies that they're also entertaining at the same time. you can't maintain that fake image. Okay, it's almost like, again, I'll bring up dating apps again. You know, there's tutorials, there are courses that you can take on how to build effective dating apps. You guys have to understand, a lot of these dating apps are social experiments by the companies that are actually running them. So they're the people that actually make them, that design them, are the narcissists too. They're extracting information, learning about how society operates, what people like in dating, how those conversations go. A lot of them, they're bot accounts, B-O-T, like robot, like bots. Okay, they're not even real, fake accounts, just to see how people interact with how they react to certain photographs, certain taglines. These things aren't real. Yes, people hook up. Yes, it works, but there's an underlying reason why these things even exist. And it is to make money and extract information. Anyway, so you have to realize that as that's happening, okay, as that is happening, you're already living in kind of like two different realities. Okay, so in one reality, yeah, you're having fun, you're interacting, you're probably going to hook up, you're probably going to do some things. But the second reality is the narcissist's underlying interest. What is it that they're really interested in getting? Are they after your assets? Okay, are they after some sort of status that you have? Are they after the connections that you have? Like, how are they going to look with you next to them? Like, what can you help them get? Right? If they're architects, for example, or you're a famous architect, you have hookups, you have jobs, like, can you hook me up? And then they go to dinner, and and things develop, but really it's because they want someone of higher status that's going to help them grow as well. They're not really looking for love, because narcissists cannot feel love, they cannot give love. So that's something that they don't really understand the way we do. So they see things more pragmatic. I remember my psychopath when I was like, do you even love me? And she sat there and told me there are 6 types of love, and she gave me this website that described all of them. I might make a video out of this. Remind me to do it. And one of them was pragmatic love. And I remember she explained that she's like, I love you in the sense that we're a good fit for each other, because you bring this to the table and I bring this to the table, and we can grow into our true potential. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, that's not even real. Like, what you know what I'm saying? So narcissists have an underlying reason. They have an agenda as why they want to get with you. Sometimes it's just sex. That's all they're looking for. Okay, so, and that's very easy to detect. They probably don't have a real connection. If you guys are really in touch with your feelings, you'll know when someone's really connected with you, and when it's just a game. And if you don't, then you really have to start waking the fuck up and see what's real and what's not. There's a lot of people I talk to that is like, man, where's the common sense here? Like, they're feeding you lines, and you're buying into these lines so easily. Like, where's your self-worth? Like, what is it that you're looking for? I mean, how empty are you that someone can just tell you one line and you're just gonna believe it? Anything that starts out too fast like that is you gotta keep an eye on it. Okay, nothing that starts out that fast, a lot of times, most of the time, okay, not all the time, but most of the time, is not even real. Okay, so tread carefully. These narcissists, again, they're covert. It's like that secret agent shit. You have to be careful how much information you disclose of yourself, how much information you reveal, how vulnerable are you at the beginning. A relationship at the beginning, it should be baby stepping, especially if you have trauma and you have a history. You want to baby step your way through it. You're learning about them. They're learning about you. It doesn't mean you have to be closed off and super hyper vigilant and have walls around you. No. But there needs to be a give and take. There needs to be a give and take. It doesn't have to be like a 50-50 equal thing, but, let things fall into place as you reveal a story. Does that story sound made up? Or are they really going into detail, and does it relate with you, and does it branch off into another conversation? And then later on, and somehow that story gets referenced later, do they change the details? right? Or is it the same? Because a lot of times, since narcissists are constantly making shit up, and it takes a lot of energy to sustain those lies and those stories, they slip. And if you're onto them, if you're hyper vigilant at the beginning, like most people that get out of this are, you should be able to spot those things right away. When they tell you a story and then next week they bring it up again, and it's like, wait a second, but you said you were out there with your friends. Now it was your brothers. Oh, but wait, you said you went to this city, you went to this restaurant, but now it was coffee at down the street, like, and you see how they'll get so irritated that you picked up on that detail. That's when the tantrum comes out and all that shit. They'll deflect and they'll do something that a normal healthy person will not. A normal healthy person would, first of all, they wouldn't screw up the details because it's not a lie. And if somehow they do kind of like screw it up, like you can see how they'll be like, oh shit, I'm an idiot. Like, that's not what I meant, this, and it gets corrected and it's cool and it's no big deal. And you shouldn't feel your stomach turning. Okay? You shouldn't feel your stomach turning. That's how you know when you're dealing with someone that's full of shit, right? And when someone's real. When someone's real, you don't have these warning systems. Your nervous system is not trying to warn you. Okay? Like, you actually feel cool, and it's like, hey, yeah, I got something to do, you got something to do, and you go and you do it, and their actions match their words. Okay? You should never feel like, damn, like, why are you trying to learn so much about me, but then, then you go and you do something like this, and you throw that in my face, or all of a sudden you like this type of music, or all of a sudden you like this type of food. And is that because that's what I like? Because you never spoke about, for example, you never liked Italian food. Now all of a sudden you're talking about Italian food because I love Italian food. All right? Or they started listening to the same type of music that you listen to all of a sudden. And you can tell that they're not even into that music because they don't know the artists the way you do. Or they'll listen to their top 5 songs. They don't really know the original records or things like that. So they're not really old fans. That they're just like, oh, I gotta learn quick. What are the top 3 songs of this artist? Yeah, I like that song. And it's like, well, that's the mainstream song, but stop pretending that you've known this band for a long time when you clearly don't know what you're even talking about. Or like I said, with that friend that was reading these books, and it's like, okay, you just read a few chapters. You're regurgitating information you just read. You don't know what you're talking about. If I were to really ask you a question on it, I'd stump you. You wouldn't know where to go from there. So you have to be able to pick these things out. And you're gonna do that over time. Okay, so it's not that you have to be an expert at it and call it out right away. Because if you are hypervigilant, you may screw up something good because of your paranoia, because of your trauma, right? But over time, you really get to see what someone is about. It really does. And if you don't, you really have blinders on. There's a lot of people that I work with in my coaching program that have been married for a long time, when we actually get down to the nitty-gritty stuff, they all admit, yeah, there were red flags at the beginning. And they weren't like orange flags. They were legit blood red flags. There was things they said, things they did, certain abusive behaviors that they showed, certain things that really raised their attention, and they didn't know how to handle it, and they kept moving forward, and things progressively got worse and worse and worse. It wasn't like it was 20 years of bliss, and all of a sudden on the 21st year, it's like, what the fuck just happened? When we really do the work and we start going back, it's like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. I remember during the honeymoon, they were on their phone and some weird shit was going on. I remember, this situation happened and they disappeared for like a week, and they told me that it's because of this and XYZ reasons, and I was a newlywed and I didn't know what to do. There's always some shit that you can trace back to the beginning and realize, damn, that person was weird. They were doing things that just didn't make sense, and I just didn't know better. Once you know this shit, okay, and you remember all those things, that's why it's so hard to get over this type of trauma. Because the wiser you become, the more intellectual you become on this topic, the more you understand the traps that the psychopaths and the narcissists set and the way they behave, the more your brain remembers all those times all those lies, all those things that they raised a red flag for you, and you ignored it, it's kind of like you get that confirmation. I was like, motherfucker, that's what they were doing. That's what, damn. And you get re-triggered, and you get re-triggered, and you get re-triggered again. And we're talking about stuff that happened 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years back. But it's that your brain is becoming wise to the situation. I don't know, you remember all this stuff, and it's like, damn, that's why they were acting that way. So going back to, to the James Bond type of thing, you have to guard your information. You have to guard your information. You can reveal a little bit, they reveal a little bit. You spend time together. You see how it is when you guys spend time together, when you date, when you travel. How do they treat the waiter, right? Or the server at the restaurant? How do they treat people like that? What's the relationship with their parents like, right? Do they have friends? Or do they only have pictures of themselves on their social media? That's another thing to look for. And I will make another video on that one too. There's so many things that you have to look out for. And that's why you can't move too fast too soon. Be careful. If this was a legit spy from another country that's just trying to infiltrate and gain access to some sort of secret weapon or secret information, intel that they're looking for, they're going to come in there, okay? And they're going to get close to you. They're going to try to build rapport, and they're going to do all these things to get you to trust them, okay? And then they're going to get what they want. You can't just freely give yourself away with someone that you don't know, because it's weird. It's just weird. Would you tell a homeless stranger that you've never met before, that at 3 a.m. that just comes up, are you just gonna like walk around freely and have your purse wide open and just divulge all this information? No, you're gonna be like closed off, and you're gonna be moving forward, right? Because this person has not earned your trust. Okay, they have not earned your trust. So you have to remember, anyone new that you meet, especially post a narcissistic entanglement or relationship, where we carry all these bad vibes now, and we have our picker is broken, we have all this trauma, we have trauma bonding, Stockholm syndrome symptoms, right? You have to guard yourself. You have to be a little more guarded, actually a lot more guarded. Baby step your way. I'm not saying be a closed wall. I'm not saying, put up 10 fucking borders around you, but baby step your way. Make them earn your trust. Okay, you're saying XYZ. Okay, prove it. And not in the sense where it's like, prove it, put a ring on the finger. Not that type of shit, okay? Not that type of shit. Prove it with your actions. You don't even have to tell them to prove it. Just, for yourself, okay, they said this. Let's see what happens in a few weeks if they actually, come through with what they said. Are they promising you a dream? Are they selling you a dream right away? That it's like, hey, why would you even say all these things when you don't even know me yet? Be careful. Be careful. Don't push them away. But be careful. That's all. And if they're legit, they will respect that about you. They're not going to get mad. If they get mad, then it's very easy to see that they're just after something. Okay? If they really like you for who they are, if they're really interested in getting to know you and building something, then they'll be patient. Okay? And I don't mean patient in the sense where you can't date for 2 years and you have to be texting for 2 years before you can date. I'm talking about they're not gonna get mad if you're not opening yourself like a book to them on the second day that you've met. Like what's the hurry? Isn't it fun to get to know someone, right? And there's new things that you're learning and you're sharing. Why is everyone in such a hurry to jump right back into some trap? Because that's what happens. You don't know these people. You have a few things in common. You're getting older. Your biological clock bullshit, right? And just like that, now you pop some kids. Now you're stuck with a kid you got to raise by yourself because, the father turned out to be a psychopath. Good job. Good job. You couldn't have waited to see how things played out, enjoyed the relationship for at least 3 or 4 years, right? Done a little traveling together, maybe getting some property together, right? Like going through fights and seeing how the conflict resolution works, seeing if their actions match their words over time, and let things organically happen. You know, why would anyone want to have a kid with someone that they haven't even known for a year? Why would anybody want to marry someone that they haven't even known for a year? It could be a trap. It could be a spy. It could be a narcissist. And it probably is. So be careful. Tread carefully. Take your sweet time. Okay? Take your sweet time. You don't want to repeat the mistakes that you already made in the past. Okay? That's why a lot of these situations happen to us again, to see how much we've learned. Take your time. There's no hurry. Okay? And if you can't do it, if you need help with this, if you need a slap in the face, if you need like a voice of reason, you like to work directly with me, I do have an online coaching program. I work directly with survivors of narcissistic abuse. We talk things out. We don't make irrational decisions and irrational behaviors. Okay? I help you guys focus. I help you guys open your eyes to the truth based on reality, not the dream that these toxic predators are selling you. Okay? I can help you get through that trauma and move forward into a happy, joyous, and free life. You're gonna have to do some work, but nothing in this life comes easy without work. Okay? So if you're interested, just visit my website, psychopathexposure.com/coaching. There's a link in the description below where you can get more details on that. If you have a burning desire for a topic that you'd like for me to cover, just drop a comment below in this video or any of the videos that I have that you'd like more information on, more details. Maybe you can share your story. And I get hundreds of these a day, so it might take some time, and the ones that stand out, I usually get inspired to make a video response on them. So feel free to shoot me either an email or leave some comments. Keep communicating with each other. This community continues to grow. This information is getting a lot more mainstream lately. That could be a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. It's a double-edged sword, as a lot of these narcissists are learning how to navigate, right? How to navigate through all this, and they're getting smarter. So we also have to learn how to navigate through it and become even smarter than them. And that's what I do here. That's what we do in the Psychopath Exposure community. So thanks for sticking around. If you got some value out of this video, I would appreciate if you dropped a like on the video. And don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon so that you can get notified when a new video comes out. Thanks to everyone that participated in the live chat. I appreciate you guys. I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Kira. This is Psychopath Exposure. Anti-narcissist community. Anti-narcissist, okay? We don't like narcissists. We just don't, okay? We don't like them. So do me a favor and put yourself first today. Do something for yourself that you love, that makes you happy. I don't care how you feel. I don't care whether you want to do it or not, okay? Invest in yourself today, okay? Go out and do something that you like, whatever it is, so that you can feel good, so that tomorrow you can remember, hey, no matter what I was going through, no matter what I was feeling, no matter what I'm feeling now, at least I did something cool yesterday for myself. So go out and do that, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.